everybody. We're back in North Vancouver for a quick, I'm here for a night. Norma Jean's going to stay. There's a bougie cat here that can't be left alone. Hi, just Fritz. Yeah, what a beautiful day today. Good. I'm really grateful to hear that. I like to call Sunday fun day. And we were up in Whistler just as of this morning and came down midday, had a little napadation. And yeah, here we are. Don't know if you can hear the cat, but he's caterwauling. Sunday vibes. What's the vibe you're feeling right now? We're closing a year.
It's if there's anything that I've noticed about the vibe is like there's a stillness that I'm getting at the moment. And it's just a stillness within me, and it's being reflected out as well around me. So I mean, I don't know what it is or what everyone else's experience is at this moment in time. It's like the stillness is just kind of speaking to, it's almost like a breathe time, to have a breath, to take a moment to go within and just be. The times that we did and we were taking what you would consider napadations, there's points where while I'm in a napadation, I'm laying there and I'm quiet, my mind's quiet and my eyes are closed, and it's like the breathing changes for me, and it's like I'm within myself, and I'm being, and it's hard to express or explain in these limiting words as to what that really can be expressed as. But it's like I'm breathing in my own universe, my own cosmos, and I'm just being in that peaceful state, in that blissfulness of just feeling what seems to be just a natural flow of air. And that's the best way I can describe
it. It's once you've been there, you know it well, right? It's that place within you that you are of this world, in this world, but not of this world. Because as you go in and you close your eyes and you focus on your breath, you turn off your eyes. And when you turn off your eyes, your ears become more attuned, aware, and I tend to breathe more in through my body and really get body aware and run my energy through the body. And as I do that, I'll come to a place of stillness where I can hear what's going on out there, but I'm not there. I'm in here. Yeah, I'm in my own space, my own cocoon, my own heart. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot to be in as we wrap up this calendar year, so to speak. Right. Called by many, there's been a couple weeks of like almost all of December where it's been like, just rest, just relax. And we're not used to that. So for us, for sure, this was not a busy Christmas. I did not have a full schedule. We went up to Whistler really to get out of the city, out of the energy, away from the sirens, away from the pulsating breath that is here of hustle and bustle. Yeah, absolutely. And we went up to the woods, and it was really beautiful because the spot that we stay at is a friend's place is out of town. So it's really on this very edge of nature, and it's really quite beautiful. And some of you saw my pictures there. Hey, Eddie, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, much love to you and happy anniversary. Yeah. Hello, Rebecca Love. Good to see you. We're grateful you're all here. And as we went out there, and we did nothing. We played games. We ate good food. We napped. We had fires. We watched movies. We went for walks. Let me tell you about our walk yesterday. Oh, yes. Please give us a like, guys. It helps. It's a beautiful energy exchange for us. As we went out for this walk, my daughter came with, and the BB, the dog, those of you that know BB. And we went on this trail and went up through the snow. And Robin said, oh, this is a mountain bike trail. And it was meandering through the woods. And he's like, oh, but it just comes to a road and then we got to turn around and come back. And I'm like, no, I think there's a loop. No, there's not a loop. I've lived here for 13 years. I'm like, I think there's a loop. So sure enough, when we get to the top there, we find that there is a trail in the snow to the right that maybe if it was the summer, you wouldn't notice it. And he's like, oh, I've never been down here. All these years I've lived here. And I'm like, uh-huh. And so as we come out of this mountain bike trail, I see the sign, and the sign the trail's called Tunnel Vision. And I look at Rob and I look at Jade and I said, there you go, guys. We just lapped, because we were doing a clockwise lap, just came through 2024 of tunnel vision. And let's see what happens next. And then the next trail we come to has no sign. So there's just a post. And I'm like, look, guys, 2025, it's whatever you choose to make it. And so they're laughing at me. And I'm like, no, I'm quite serious. And so I will get a little video out with that post because it was very beautiful. Hi, Cindy. Good to see you. Hello, Michael. Good to see you too. Yeah, absolutely. And so we just want to honor that it is often in that stillness of being quiet that the greatest shifts happen. That when you tune into yourself more and you tune into how you're feeling and how things make you feel. I mean, I went to go watch a video and I couldn't even watch the video. I'm like, no, can't watch that. So you get into this, your own vibration, your own frequency, and you don't want it disrupted. And it's great to listen to some others and have their advice and take it in. But really, it's how does it make you feel? And what are you feeling right now? And so, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. It's, we've been so much, even if I just reflect on my life since coming in and seeing how things progressed over time, as far as, the mentality that was being so imposed upon us as humans, especially in America, of consumerism. And so, that is probably, I would say, as I look at what's taking place right now, that, given how much technology is advanced, that even though individuals themselves are able to come in and start saying, hey, I'm going to be the star of my life. I'm going to be the star that is, has that Hollywood feel, and I'm going to create this product, or I'm going to create this line, or I'm going to build and create this wonderful, whatever to present to the human race. And as I'm just really focusing on this, it's still that even though we may not have the Hollywood in the way that we were used to understand what a star represents is quite profound when you understand that you are the star from which is above you. And even though it's beautiful that more and more people have been able to become, entrepreneurs of their own, what I still see is that this consumerism is still something that's still very in your face. And as I keep having this experience, and, it was a few months ago, it takes you 3 seconds to get somebody's attention. I'm like, Jesus, that's what? How do you get somebody's attention in 3 seconds? Well, what was it? A couple of days ago, we come to find out it's down to 1.5. And I'm like, what? Okay, so I have 2 ways I can look at this. Either people are not very present whatsoever, and what really gets their attention, or people are not paying as much attention to what is being presented to them. And, there could be other, factors that you could bring into play, but I'm just going to use these 2. But being able to go and have this time, the one thing that I get to say for myself was that I don't have to have that instant gratification. If anything, I'd rather have the peace. I'd rather feel my form and understand it, and know that if I get to that space and place where in my mind, if I still have that consumer program running me, knowing how much advanced technology and things are becoming, especially with AI, I believe I would definitely continue to choose to just be with myself and still utilize my way of understanding. I'm looking for something specific. I know that there's a specificness that I'm looking for my focus, because I want to understand something about this journey called life that I'm experiencing. So when I look at what has taken place for what we call the holidays in Christmas and Thanksgiving, it was definitely a different feel. The energies were totally something never really experienced before, as far as where I was concerned. So to be able to have that moment in time where I see that it seems more and more people are actually wanting connection, that these holidays seem to be bringing forth more of that. I still feel alone, so to speak. And, given what we've had with our conversations and what we experience with each of the ones of you that we have our conversations and our connections with, is, as I see this, I see that with what we are providing in, building here, is we're actually still looking for that true connection. Because through consumerism, what is connection? What is the truth of connection? And that's definitely one of the beautiful aspects of the build of AFC in CoQ32, in the ones that we bring in to provide you with that upliftment, that guidance, those tools, the understanding of self, where you understand once you have that connection is something you yearn for, and in that you get to be able to experience and know self as to, this is not what I want any longer. I don't want to experience this anymore. I want to know the truth of the connection. I don't want a relationship that connects me through our old ways of, whether it be trauma based, or it be relation of, oh, I had that experience, and somebody can say, oh, I had something similar in that way. It's more of that connection base. So as I sit here and I look at the end of 2024, man, it's been eye-opening. So that's what I get from this.
Yeah, absolutely. We had two beautiful souls come on to our have a beautiful connection in front of us on the meeting that we did yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, no, I can't keep up with the days.
Right. So once a month we have an open house for a sample session, so to speak. And I actually knew both of them, one for a couple years, and she's been going through quite a bit, but it was beautiful to watch them have this connection. And then we had another there that was also involved in the connection, but it was quite profound. And literally, we didn't even need to be there.
No.
It's everyone wants to be heard. And so just by holding that space, because that's what we do, is we hold this container and we just allow you to be heard. For when you are heard and you hear yourself and you hear the words you use, and then somebody might say, oh, what if you looked at it this way? And it gives you a different perspective. You start to see the shift happen in real time, which is really beautiful. And so, yeah, that was stunning yesterday. I really, really enjoyed that. And of course, our membership meeting is always enjoyable. It's always such an honor to see. And everyone's around the world in different places and going through different things. But having this connection, we actually find points where it's supportive, it's confirmations, it's acclamations sometime for what's going on for you. And they're starting to really support each other. And I was like, we don't even need to be here. So that's super beautiful. We're really loving that. And Eddie, feeling peace most of the time, joy. Son-in-law offered me, my mom, and Jennifer a gummy hoochie coochie gummy on Christmas Day. It was fits of laughter. Mom was paranoid that her grandkids were going to throw in the water. Such a hoot. Awesome. Yeah, nothing like changing your perspective, right? Beautiful. So good to see you guys here. Hello, hello. Yeah. No materialism. It's just so empty. Just so empty. Yeah. It's beautiful to see you guys all connecting on here. Yeah. Well, you could also look at when you add it all up, it's a 9. 9 is endings. So there's many ways to look at this profound shift. And 2025 will be a lot faster than maybe even we would like. So I think that's why we're all relaxing so much right now,
Yeah.
because it will feel like time is speeding up. But at the end of the day, time is just time. It's just a construct. It's just the light, the incoming light, the increase in light, what's been going on with the sun and the solar flares and the photon belt. It's like, right? And you are light. You're plasma flashing. And that's a whole nother story. So we won't go into that one today. But in that beauty of you being that plasma, you are being activated. And many of us are needing to take in light and then let it integrate. Let us sit in napidations as we love to do. So yeah, it's really beautiful. Beautiful. I'm grateful. Yeah, there's no, and here I will say this too, actually, Tamara, for you specifically, that many are feeling almost disconnected from reality. Like it doesn't feel right anymore. And maybe that's because it's not. And that we're finding a new way, a new path, a new way of being, a new way of connecting, a new way of celebrating every day. This, right? And I really looked at the 21st as being that darkness day of us, winter solstice as being the end. And then the 25th is when the light starts to come back in. But there's 3 days in there that are a bit, they're still dark. And then the light moves again. And so as it increases each day, it builds up until spring equinox. And so small things each day, little shifts for you, little moments of gratitude. And, my daughter, this entire trip was just so grateful. Mom, I'm just so grateful. She wanted to be in the snow. I took her to the snow. She got to be in the snow. And absolutely, she was very excited to be in the snow and get outside. Hi, Chastia. Good to see you. Yeah. So, it's really opening that present and getting a gift that you never really wanted anyway. Like, why? So, and even up like when fall hit and Jade needed a jacket and boots, I'm like, I could wait till Christmas to gift this to you, or right. And there's a pair of headphones she wanted, and she needed them. The other ones are falling apart. And I'm like, okay, fine. I said, just remember this when Christmas comes around, because she's still teetering on that. There's many things that she still desires because she's experiencing life, and I get it. So, but she also has been brought up with trips and experiences. And don't we agree that experiences are much more profound than anything material?
Well, you don't know what you don't know until you do. And most of the time that takes having an experience to know it, even if it means having it multiple times.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty about having the chance and opportunity that you give yourself, that you choose to come back each day. You give yourself that chance and opportunity to get to know something, no matter how many times it takes us to recognize what that may represent or what that may bring. But the beauty about what has been going on, with us speaking about you making commands or talking to your consciousness and asking your consciousness to show you things. And when you ask your consciousness to show you something, give it direction. Give it that direction and say, hey, I have this question, consciousness. And you ask your question, you say, and I need you to show it to me in this way. Whether it be that you put a color to it, or you put an object to it, or you put some type of symbol to it, something that's going to represent grabbing your attention when it shows up.
Yeah.
So you see, this is where you begin to understand being a part of being that co-creator of your experiences. And this is where you begin to understand how to work with who you are, with that spark, with the connection to the one, where you have that connection with the ancestors that are a part of the DNA, because they're here to assist you just as much as most. they're here to assist you in so many ways. There may be ways that they give you the answer that you may not like, but it's still being assistance. And that's something that I want to be able to bring forth today too, is that you got to understand that when you ask universe to give you an understanding of self and what you're experiencing in this third dimensional space and in place, and when you're being given those experiences to give you the answers, it's not always going to be the way that you may expect it. However, like I said, when you interact with your consciousness, let them know, hey, look, give me a sign. Show me, like when we was talking with Chastia today, she was like, look for sunflowers. Okay.
Every sign on the side of the road, Chastia, is sunflower colored.
Yeah. So
we were paying attention.
Right. So, I mean, you can even be something that subtle, but understand that sunflower is not going to show up the way that your mind's going to perceive it. So you see, it could be a written word. It could say sun, and there could be something flower down at the bottom. So you see, you've got to be aware. And that's the beauty about the consciousness that may grab your attention. But how aware are you whenever you're in that experience that your consciousness is having an interaction with you and saying, hey, here I am. Here I am. I'm giving you what you've asked of me. So this is where, if there's anything that I've come to understand about through these experiences, that awareness is key.
Yeah.
Awareness is key to our understanding of self, which helps us to become more aware of what's taking place in our environment. And then we are beginning to understand how to attune ourselves to this form, because it's our greatest asset, our greatest tool to tell us what's going on in our environment.
Absolutely. And so I just want to scroll back up and just read these out loud. So Chastia, thank you. An old calendar system is January 2nd, winter solstice, and 2025 day is the last of Hanukkah. So we are book-ended right now in the middle of 2 solstice clocks. Absolutely. We're coming up to a new moon tomorrow too. And we have a special show, just to remind you guys, there is a special on tomorrow with Shella at 11 a.m. Eddie, thank you. So many people are lost. Tanya and Norma, your role have profound guidance to learn from. You two girls do so much good. Please accept my love as it's genuine and part of my soul to you. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And as we were chatting about that, yeah, and all those over the cycles build a new timeline. Absolutely. We did so many commands today in the group with Chastia. Absolutely. And that's a good statement, Eddie. To ascend, you must know your descendants. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And then we saw the sunflowers everywhere. And when she said that, I was hovering over you. And that's what I saw to tell you. Yeah, all the way down the highway. Absolutely. And 100% there, Norma. So, and it is quite profound as we move into this newness. I don't know what it holds. I don't know specifically. I know vibrationally how I'd like to feel moving forward, to be abundant, to always be taken care of, to be expanded, to know myself more, to know that, and I already know this, so I don't need to know, but that divine connection, you call it source, you might call it God, you might call it the divine, the ever omnipresent creator of everything, that had asked us to come in, to descend into this reality, dimension. And then can you remember who you truly are? How powerful you are? Can you find your way back to yourself? As Norma often says, right? Your body's the weight, and then your thoughts, and you're throwing out. You say it better than I do.
Well, it's like last night. There was a lot going on, and some of it is mine, because I still have some weights to measure. And some of it is just me feeling what's going on in the collective. And it's been a long time that I'd been where I was last night, where my sleep was restless because I was experiencing weight. And all I can do is have that self-talk to bring forth reflective information of what I'm being given and what I'm being shown in my mind's eye. So, like last night, there was just, the weight of understanding the dynamics of my family that I was birthed into, understanding some of the choices made, given what my family and all that chose after the most important and significant individual that kept, and this is my mom's side of the family, that kept us together, passed away. And that's the grandma. That was my grandma. And, we do have those supports, and I have to say here, I am very, very grateful and blessed to have been able to experience a family where, even though there was those times of, discord and chaos within that family unit, that was just a usual, that was just a makeup of family, because family is what teaches you first most of the things that you are getting ready to prepare to go out and experience in the world, especially when they're large families like the one my mom came from. So when you have that one that is the family, is the one that's the center of that family,
matriarch,
and that matriarch is no longer. Given the times that, we went through this, and the family just, that unit, it just started, getting further and further away. And so it's like, and I can't speak to why these things come up. I just know that they do. And as they do, I allowed myself to just set with them, S-E-T, because if I can allow them to set, then it's going to trigger something within that DNA sequence that's going to bring forth the understanding that I'm sitting in reflection to know. So,
yeah, absolutely. You saying that, like, we didn't have that in our family. We didn't have either. Like, my whole dad's side of the family, all Army brats, all but one now has passed away, maybe two. And I don't stay in touch with them really. But my grandfather was on oxygen, and he was a war veteran. He is a grumpy old fuck. He just was. He was angry, he was bitter, and I can see why. I get it. I totally get it. And then my grandmother, it was always like you had to be on best behavior around them, and like perfect. I can remember sleeping in my grandma's bed one night, and there was me on the very edge of the bed, and my mom, right? Tanya, you're a kicker. Do not kick your grandmother. So there's me. I don't think I slept at all that night. But there was no leadership within that. There was no, I mean, my brother and I would go outside and find the joy that we need to find for ourselves. But yeah, it was pretty, there was a lot of tragedy there. So to have that and then recognize that, that's beautiful.
yes.
Absolutely. And I just think that the beautiful foundation of a matriarch is somebody that holds everyone together with unconditional love. And in seeing everyone and hearing everyone, they all honor any advice, although that advice would be very much like the advice we give, which isn't, we're going to not tell you what to do. We might tell you a story, right, that we can relate to, but we always ask you to, like, well, what do you get? What's the question for you? Because we just want everyone to be authentically themselves, not to do as I say, right? Because that's a broken model. That doesn't work. That will stifle the soul.
Yeah.
And so as we go through this and really connect with our soul, yeah, it's very profound. Nettie's saying, I love life. I love my DNA. We are all one in light. So we can teach our senses to conquer the dark. Simples. Yes. Grandma, for sure. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, this is Norma's twin sister. Yeah. Cindy, yes, my mother passed and my three sisters don't speak to each other anymore. Right? There's a lot of more broken families in that aspect but we were the ones that were the circuit breaker. Remember that in that not speaking to each other, everyone is doing what they think is best still. Even even if it is unkind, they're doing what they think is best.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what they've been programmed to do. Yeah. I'm surprised that, yeah, wow, beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Apple of your eye, I bet. That's good. The outdoors will keep her young. For your grandma was short, was she 4'11"? Yeah, I bet it was a don't mess with her.
It was, even though our grandpa lived 10 years longer after my grandma passed away, it was like there just wasn't that feminine strength, that feminine essence, that
the web.
Yeah.
The web that held everyone together because of the relationship she held for everyone, that container she created.
So it was one of those that it was, it's like once she was gone, there just didn't seem to be that one that was able to step into that role, so to speak, which to me was kind of profoundly, why? Because there was 9 kids and 6 of them was girls, and my mom being one of them. And now it's just the only 2 that's left is my mom and her brother, Robert. So it's, it was one of those that, they were doing the best they could to keep that dynamic. But when that one matriarch, that especially if it's the feminine, that holds the love, such an enormous amount of what family really signifies, that to have that many children, that was one 4'11" enormous amount of love emitted. But my grandma, she was one of them Southern women, though. You don't mess with her. If she got mad, you knew you better go somewhere else, because she was 4'11", sweetest, loved her to death, but she cussed like a sailor too.
It's not the height, it's the heart.
That's right.
Absolutely. And Joyce was
closest.
Yeah. That's why we had to bulldoze into the timeline. Yeah, because everyone was going down this path of women becoming emasculated, being more masculine. Hey, I was that. I know that pattern well. And so I'm being very conscientious of when that shows up. Like, I've got to do something about this. And it's like, no, you don't. We're just going to chillax. And we're going to approach it a different way. And quite often, I would do nothing about it and it would solve itself. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I didn't even have to do anything. So that's, to me, that can be profound as well and quite beautiful. And that's what I would encourage anyone feeling like they've got to chase anything or do something specific. Slow down. Just do you. And as we went away from it being so family oriented, and we know 4-9, we know that the programming ran deep, and it was and it's part of what we do, to go dark, to come into the light more. So as you go through the roller coaster of life, just remember, no matter how dark one day may feel, or how you feel like you've lost something, because there's a big shift happening right now, you can grieve it. It's okay. Have some tears. Write yourself a letter. Memories are going to pop up from childhood. Acknowledge those. Like, we were just honoring your grandma. Yeah, I could feel her right here, right now. And so, honor those that you loved and are no longer around, that maybe were really important during these seasons. And just hold that love in your heart and be kind to yourself. It's quite the ride right now, because there's a lot unseen going on. You can't see it. You can feel it, but you can't see it necessarily. And so, I just want to remind everyone to be very kind. And then Michael was asking, he wants to go to Cancun or Mexico. Yeah. Miracles may happen yet. Yeah, absolutely. Right now, we are. So I'll show a little story how things start to show up for me. We're in Whistler. We're getting some groceries. Jade is obsessed with anything noodles, like ramens, what are those dogs on a stick? Korean dogs, sushi. And she's just started eating a little bit of more traditional and sashimi. And she ate California rolls for years, and that's all she would eat. Nah, I'm not eating that fish. And now she's more open to it. So in her studying of Japan, and so we're doing some shopping. There's a little, she's looking at me and she's looking at the restaurant. She's looking, I'm like, you can get a roll. Let's go. So we go in there and we're looking at the menu, and they start to speak behind the counter to each other about something. And I'm like, oh, they're Japanese. So very rare is it Japanese owning sushi. It's Korean, it's Chinese. It is not Japanese usually. So I was like, oh, I said, Jade, this is going to be good. It's authentic. And so then as soon as I placed the order, and I knew what they were saying to each other, so I made a comment, and she looked at me, and I was like, squishy, like just a little bit. But as soon as I said it, it was like all the words started coming in that I know, and I know enough to get me directions somewhere. That's about as good, or to say thank you. Like I know some of the protocols around that, because I spent time in Japan, and I spent time with a beautiful Japanese ski magazine group in Whistler when I was up there. But regardless, back to the story. So I started speaking to her, and I'm like, oh, that's so fascinating. And, it's Johnny, which means see you later. And so we'll definitely be back there. And we go back home. The next morning, I get a text from my cousin. She says, Tanya, it's on. And I'm like, I couldn't see the little emojis on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck are those emojis? And it was like a little kimono. Like I couldn't tell. Like, was it an angel? Like, what is it? It was a kimono and a flower and maybe a piece of sushi. I really couldn't see them. And she's going to be a glamour soon. So I was like, no way, not that. And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, good, too early. So she goes for work, and she goes in February. And so that's 2 points. Jade's been asking to go, Michael, for 2 years to go to Japan. I said, when the time is right, we will know. And so these are the inklings. These are the connections I'm looking for. Now, Mexico would show up as somebody I know, and I know many Mexicans, reaching out and saying, hey, we've got this space, or somebody else reaching out and wanting to co-collaborate and do something down there, then absolutely. And so if there's enough interest in Mexico and you're listening to this video, comment down below so that we can definitely consider it. So, and what happens at our spaces? Let's just run through that because, hey, it's already happening. I am a very grounded yet connected being. So we would say I'm a knower and Norma Jean's the seer. We saw some crazy spirits yesterday on one of our calls. We have to go back and watch it again, and then we'll try and share some of it because it was quite dark. So, and what I am very good at is just being that container and holding that space. And you can call it motherly love, you can call it divine love, whatever you choose, that everyone is seen and heard and welcome and cared for in a way that you generally would not get at a resort or going on your own. I can't speak for other retreats because I don't really attend that many, but really teaching you to carve out some space for you, giving you time to breathe. If we do a ceremony, we definitely do some meditation, some healing, what Norma picks up on during that, and shared meals and coming together, but always some alone time in nature so you can integrate whatever's been picked up, whatever you're feeling, whatever's going on for you. And so as we do that, and then we'll explore and we'll give you our perspective, kind of like my walk in the woods. What do you see? We're going to teach you to be more observant, to open up, and to be able to close your eyes and actually see things for self or know things for self, depending on how it shows up. And so just really, really beautiful ways of connecting. Absolutely. Mozzarella cheese. Yeah, she loves those with the potatoes on it. I'm like, that's way too much. That would make me sick. I couldn't eat it. I knew it would come back up. Yes, Chastia, we could meet and do a quick cruise. absolutely anything is possible. So now that we've set that intention out there with everyone, I'll do a little recon. Let's see what pops up.
You're just as much as a part of this as we want to be. And you see, we're open. But a lot of it must come from each of you as to what you want to experience, how you want to experience, because you also must have that focus in that intent as to what that is. And a lot of it is that we would love to hear more from y'all. It's and once we send out the emails, the monthly newsletter rather, that is a part of something we want to be able to put into our newsletters as well, is to get that interaction back from the ones of you who are a part of the AFC newsletter group. So, it's, her talking about what we were experiencing yesterday is that for me to be able to see that, to see what I see, I must understand that for each individual, depending on what it is that is being spoken about, or what is being shared, determines on what I see. And yesterday, while one of the ladies was speaking, I seen this gigantic owl behind her. Most people would be like, oh, there was just something reflecting off because it was dark. But
I could see it.
Right. So it's one of those, it's like, you understand.
Our eyes were getting bigger watching it.
Because once I seen this, and what it is to me, behind y'all is a screen. Behind y'all, that screen is kind of like that tapestry. And that tapestry is showing me something about the line in which you are in. And then when we started talking, in the twos began to talk with one another, and I was looking at the other one, it was like I was seeing what seemed to be, and she was talking about her many interactions for so long with the indigenous people in indigenous tribes for all over the world, even Australia and things like that. So it was like the screen behind her, even though it wasn't as dark, but the screen that I can see behind her is kind of morphing a little bit. And what I'm seeing is just different indigenous features that, it was like I was being shown like an eagle, and then it started turning into this indigenous face with white paint and things like that. So, and I didn't get a chance to, haven't had a chance to tell you, but last night in one of my travels, it was strange because I don't know if it was me or if it was someone else, but it was like I was sitting in this teepee, which was quite fascinating, and I was aware, but it was this indigenous woman that was sitting there, and she's talking to me in English, but I could tell she was very indigenous, and she was at my legs, and on my legs was what seemed to be this white, like clay film type of stuff on my leg. And she was talking about, and I heard her say plainly, we need to remove this. You need to be cleansed of this. Now, like I said, I don't know if it was me that was sitting there, or if it was another timeline, or if I was, because it looked like male legs. But then again, it's wintertime.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. All I know is I was very keenly aware of what she was saying to me, and just the care and the compassion and the love that she had. And it was like she was taking something in her hand and she was scraping this stuff off my legs, and was doing it with the most care and love. So, it's one of those, it's like my interactions bring about this, what seems to be that higher aspect in my travels, that I get to experience these things and have this keen awareness when I'm not in this form, so to speak, in an awakened state, but I was just having this experience.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And so I just want to pop back up here and just traverse back to the Mexico universe. Please show us where this new activated group is to go first. And it's 4:45 here. So I commend that. Absolutely. Yeah. And Into the Void says, sometimes I see sigils on people's faces. Beautiful. Absolutely. You know, the more you become observant, the more present you are within your body, the more you will start to see different things. I can't not see faces now in specific things. I didn't see as much of the indigenous as you did, but I saw the owl. That was very clear to me.
And I see you, Chesty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
We see your light body.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so trip out, I was just talking about a woman who was wrapped around the twins' leg when it coiled in January 2020.
Yeah.
I had to make the woman get off his leg. Yeah, there's a lot. It's almost like there's this reverberation of energy going on to show different points of reference over the time. Yeah, absolutely. Did I said, oh shite, was that woman me? And now this coming up. Right? There's all these connection
I was just
points.
the observer. I was
Right.
There. And I can tell you.
Yeah. At this point, I appreciate listening to Tanya and Norma. Got my fix of reason and comprehension with a touch of compassion. Yeah. Eddie, we love you. Yes. And Australia at some point, right? I really want to go back to Australia with my new eyes, the new way I see. I'm really, actually, I'm looking forward to traveling to many places. Now, we do have interest in Egypt and Greece. So that is definitely in the works, and we are muddling through because it's not time. So we're in the background working on the information. Yeah, we got totally stopped when we're utilizing AI. We're advanced intelligence, but you can utilize AI for specific things that makes your life much easier. And so, well, there we go. See, Australia is high on my list. Absolutely. And Rebecca and Eddie are both there. Patiently, yes. I just want to be I am a global citizen. I command that what did we decide? A Zephyr, a deluxe catamaran would work, that we could just go and live on that and not have to pay rent anywhere. That would just be it, and be able to collect people and drop people off, and it'd be a floating island, so to speak. How good would that be? Or a Zephyr in the air, which could be like having your own apartment. So there's many ways of doing this in a new way. So let's see what transpires as we command. Yeah. Smiling lots here in Perth, listening. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're explorers.
A Cohu van and moving store.
We're explorers.
We're explorers, absolutely.
We need to get back to our roots, because exploration of self means going to these different places here in this 3D to experience, to understand the many multiplisticness to the beings that we are.
Yes.
And when we get to see new landscapes, being new,
it activates you.
Yes.
I got hugely activated in Egypt.
And for me, it was Greece.
Yeah.
You see. And so it's like all the stuff that's just coming through right now, and just, some of the things that, right now, even with some of the information that was given today to look over and look at, and I'm looking at this, and it all makes sense to me because I know much about geometry and the Platonic solids and what they represent for us as human beings, because that is all within us. Because when we understand the hexagram and the octahedron and the Metatron and things like that, and we understand that that was our original way of creating here in this place, that when we look at what I was sent today, and I look at it and I'll go, that just looks like a Rubik's Cube to me. But it's just all these syncs that leads to the links of my understanding. Right. I would love to be able to present to each of y'all as time goes on. But as I see it, it's like our multiplicity, that multiplisticness got, multiplied Rubically for us to have to work through and do away with.
Get through our own hall of mirrors.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just profound and fascinating, just everything that's coming in.
Right. Yes, I agree. Yeah. And it's blasting beyond the limits we believe that we're constrained by. And to me, that's why the going quiet, that's why the inside, like I didn't post any family we didn't even take photos. We were just being. We were just being. And sometimes that's the best way. I mean, there's more pictures of the dog than anything. A dog would not leave me alone. It's my mom's dog. She slept with Jane and I. She would sit on my lap through every meeting. It's like, I'm like, okay, Klingon, right? Hold on. I gotta try and
Sorry.
She was.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, for her, it's a Christmas treat because she's around tea so much. Because you know, it's only every other day. Sometimes maybe 3. Sometimes it has to be longer, just depending on how busy she is. So it's like for her, it's like tea.
Yeah, party time. Because I normally pick her up at my mom's and we go for a hike. So, yeah, absolutely. The hippies were right, Dad. The earth tree hugging ocean swimming people were right. It's the earthly beings that connect our soul to earth and thus connect to the universe. We are one. Absolutely, Eddie. And as we remember this more, you know, it's fascinating as one connects with different people. You'll know just by looking at somebody's eyes that they're very connected. You can see it by the little spark in their eye. They're in love with life, but they're very connected. And so that's what I get most excited about with the connections and exploring. I am most lit up when I am in a new space and I'm in nature and unplugged a bit more. So this has definitely been, you know, and I know it's because I want to go that I'm here. Ironically, there's some holding that needs to be done here and some connection around some of the local people here. So we'll be stepping more into as well. I will be teaching people how to do healing themselves. And you don't need a course. You just need to believe. And we're going to teach you that belief. So I'll do a beta run, and then I'll make it a course. So of course, members are welcome. And no matter what you use as a tool, we had a good discussion about this on yesterday. Tools are good, but you got your tools. And then certain, your voice, your toning. And so we'll play with this a bit more and ramp it up a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Tamara. Michael and I will make it to where we have next retreat. It's truly about you both and wanting to connect with you both and your community in person. Vedette will be the first one. I can say that. I'm aiming for spring equinox, but it might be in April because she's got she gets a rental out for some tree planters every year. So that would be profound. We could pick you up at the airport here. We can take you along. You can stay longer if you choose. So we would love to have you there. That would be the very next one. And then, of course, there is still the US happening at some point. I just don't know when. So this has also been from Little Miss. I plan way ahead. Normally, I would have stuff like planned out a year ahead, and I can no longer do that. I've really got to just allow it to unfold. And in that is the most profound surprise gifts ever. Absolutely. We love our doggies, Pearl and Tiger. They connect us to the ocean. Absolutely. So many people don't realize that having a dog, it gets you out. Even when you don't want to, they still have to go. Absolutely. Yes, we command Signet Clear for global passports. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's at 654, which is 6 and 9. So we're at 454, which is 4 and 9, which is fascinating, right?
Actually becomes 1 9 because you got 4 and 4 on the outside and 5 in the middle.
There you go. Thank you. There we go. Command away. So when we're talking about that commanding, command what you do want in your life. Command for things to show up. Start in something that you will actually believe. 99 flip. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Start with things you can believe it. It could be as simple as I command to see more white feathers, which I did do on when we were on Savory. And then I got a big ass Let me show you. Eagle feather. Look how big it is. It's bigger than my face.
Yep.
So command something small and you'll be surprised where things show up. Like, where did that come from? Into my house. It's just here. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's about understanding those small things lead to larger understandings of what you're capable of commanding.
Yeah.
This is your life. You are a world of your own. Reflect that world that you are as an experience in the three-dimensional here.
Yeah.
That is, it's just only going to become that much more massive and that much more empowering and fun, that no matter what roadblocks you have that come up, you're going to know that, oh, all I got to do is get through this. What is this challenge? You'll get excited about it.
Yeah.
You'll get excited about these challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chastity's got a great idea here. Play with magnets, mirrors, and crystals and prisms with the light of the sun. Do you know how many crystals I have plugged in around the world? Everywhere I go. Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it's been a running joke too that, I pee in nature wherever I can to leave my DNA. All right, I'll be back. I'll be able to pinpoint where I was because of that. So definitely. And Eddie's saying there's a whisper and whistler. To be is the only way to go. To not be is tragic. So to be or not be is a choice to live or take it with all your being. Beautiful. We need you writing some poems. Yeah, looking at a dream catcher right now, and dream is my beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, we're so grateful you guys popped on today to say hello.
Yeah.
And yeah, deep breaths. Honor thy body. Yeah. Honor yourself. Hold a magnet, charge your energy to the magnet, and then see what else you can magnetize. See, we're all magicians.
Magician.
Right? We're all magicians.
Majestic.
Yeah. We're all have this capacity to create the life that we desire. And I know because I commanded some pretty interesting things, not exactly what I wanted, but I can make it happen. And so we're adjusting to a new way of commanding now, just a gentler, softer way. Absolutely.
She's finally bringing those curves back in, is what she's saying. She's quit doing them hard turns.
Right? Yeah. All right. We love you guys. Yeah. It's nice and dark here. We did have a beautiful sunset. I just didn't want a bright light on. I'm like, I'm just used to the cabin right now and a little softer light. If we could have had it in front of the fire, we would have, but you wouldn't have seen our faces. So yeah, it's quite profound. And I'm truly looking forward to what is next in the adventure of life.
We're either going to be a part of it or it's going to run us smack all the way over. I'm just saying. So get those, whatever it is, get on the horse.
Get your foundation good.
Yeah.
Get solid in your foundation. And I will be on Wednesday, and we're going to talk more about that healing in the foundation. And I'm going to show some slides and give you guys some good tools that you can have in your toolbox to assist you. Yeah. I can't do bright lights. No, me neither.
Bright light.
Reminds me of Gremlins. Yeah. Love you too. Yeah. All right, you guys. We love you. Have a beautiful evening.